I was born as a result of my mother's affair. My dad just told me the truth and said that he will not pay for my college, while he fully paid for my brother's and sister's education. Basically, everything is already in the title. I don't understand how to process all of this, and I am completely unprepared for what awaits me. I am 18. My older brother and sister studied at the same college. My brother graduated 2 years ago. My sister will graduate in 2 years. Both studied fully at my dad's expense. Dad paid all their expenses: rent, food, cars, pocket money, anything you can think of. Now my brother has a job in his own place. He lives with his fiancée, and his life is settled. My sister already has a well-paid part-time job, and Dad still pays almost all of her expenses. I was also accepted into the same college, just as I always wanted, and I was looking forward to talking with my parents about the next steps and wanted to ask them to help me the same way they helped my brother and sister. I always believed that they had already set aside money for my college, just like for my brother's and sister's college. Instead, I was told the story about my mom's affair, that I'm the result of that affair, and that Dad is no longer going to support me or help me financially. Dad said that my mom had 18 years to tell me the truth and prepare me for the future, but she obviously did not do that. He said that it was not his place to tell me anything, since I am not his son, and he did not want to interfere in my mom's parenting. It turns out that my grandparents know that I am not my dad's biological son, but also never occurred to them to tell me anything. My brother and sister knew nothing and are just as shocked as I am, because there were never any hints that something was wrong. Maybe I am naive, but I always thought that I had a great relationship with my dad. We went to sports games together, went fishing. He helped me when I had problems with math. Dad is an engineer. He taught me how to drive. I never felt that he held any resentment toward me. He gave me my name, explained what it meant, and was very proud of it. This is a story he told from time to time. My mom never told me anything like that, although, as it turned out, she should have had that conversation with me a long time ago, but she never did. I feel abandoned and unprepared for the future. I am not even sure if I will be able to go to college at all now. I was always sure that my parents would pay for my education. I have never worked and do not understand what kind of job I can even find to combine it with studying. I have no idea how to apply for loans or credits. My mom is just crying and apologizing, but nothing concrete. She herself does not know how to help me. I do not even understand if I am welcome at home anymore. I am ashamed to leave my room, and if I am asked to move out, I do not know where to go. I have no savings at all, except maybe about $400. I am angry at my mom and do not understand what my relationship with my dad is now. Somewhere in this world there is a man who is my biological father and who never wanted to have anything to do with me. I feel rejected and do not understand what to do and how to fix this situation. Does anyone have any ideas what I should do? Should I apologize to my dad? What should I say to him? I don't know. I have been sitting in my room for several days now, reading the forum. I really don't understand what to do. Edited. Comments are appearing faster than I can reply, but I am making a list of all the advice about financial aid, health insurance, switching to my own mobile phone plan, and so on. Things I never even thought about before. Thank you all. I will try to reply to as many people as possible, but there are too many comments. I can't keep up. Update 1. Sorry for disappearing. Nothing bad happened to me. Yesterday, I managed to talk to my mom, but in the middle of the conversation, I chickened out and did not say everything I want to say. The good news is that I am not being kicked out of the house, and they are not disowning me or anything like that. Thank you all for the support. In a few hours, I will contact the financial aid office at my college and will figure things out further. A week ago, my grandfather had a stroke, and my dad is helping my grandmother organize a live-in caregiver. So he was not home yesterday. I will let you know how things go for me. Thank you again. Update 2. Sorry for not writing. My grandfather passed away yesterday morning. Nothing happened to me, but right now my situation is secondary. Nevertheless, I think I will be okay thanks to your incredible support and help. My sister knows everything that is going on and told me not to worry. She is on my side, and I can count on her support. I promise to write an update if there are any significant changes. Right now, I need to support my grandmother. Thank you again. Update 3. I am not sure that this is exactly what you want to hear, but overall, everything has more or less returned to a normal state, considering the other events. Unfortunately, at the beginning of this week, my grandfather died, and I am still processing it. I managed to talk to both my mom and my dad, and now I understand what my relationship with them and with my brother and sister is. I am not sure I would have had the courage to say everything that needed to be said if it were not for the huge amount of help and advice in the comments. I think it is safe to say that both of my parents love me, and what happened 2 weeks ago was an overreaction to a fight between them. It bothers me to realize that I myself do not fully understand what is going on in my own life. And at the same time, some stranger in the comments can accurately describe my situation, having only a few lines of text from me. Many comments hit the essence of what was happening very accurately. At this point, I have read about 40% of the comments by my estimate, but I gave up. There are too many of them. I cannot keep up. The bottom line is this. I am definitely going to college. Exactly the college I always wanted to attend. And my experience will be the same as my brothers and sisters. The money for all of this exists. My family is not going bankrupt, as many assumed. It is just that my dad had an emotional breakdown against the background of all the problems with my grandfather and the fight with my mom. Even if my dad had followed through with his decision, my grandmother told me that my grandfather left me and my brother and sister an amount that we're supposed to split among the three of us, but it is enough to pay for my college. The reason for the whole scandal was an extremely unfortunate coincidence in timing on my part. My parents had just fought, and then I appeared with the phrase, "Hey, pay for my college." The parents were talking about us, their children, and my mom said something to my dad like, "And you are to leave when I turn out to be pregnant," or something like that. I was not there. This is a retelling. My dad was apparently talking about how he is proud of his children, and my mom wanted to express her gratitude for the fact that he raised me as his own. My dad took this as the affair being the best decision in my life, or something like that. The argument only intensified, and my mom said something to my dad like, "And why did you even decide that any of the kids are yours at all?" After that, everything went to hell. Soon after that, I appeared as well with my stupid face. Since then, my dad and mom have made up. My mom is still in a bad state. My dad is also not handling my grandfather's death very well. I talked to my brother and sister. My sister made a real scene and rushed here, tearing into the parents on the phone at the same time. My brother was calmer, but when he came home, he also quite unambiguously said everything he thought. My grandfather's death seems to have cooled emotions a bit and shifted the focus to the need to deal with it. Reading the comments was a revelation for me. I felt completely unprepared for the outside world. Many asked, how did it happen that I did not know how to apply for loans or grants? In my defense, I will say that when year after year you live with a certain that you have nothing to worry about and that college for you is practically already paid for, you simply do not have to think about such things. Of course, I knew that loans and credits exist that students need to know about, but it did not apply to me. I went from, I am going to college, I can't wait, to, you are not my son, and I am not paying for your college in less than 24 hours. Many people were prepared for that from the start. At least they knew that they would have to take out a loan, look for a job, housing, and so on. For me, it was an abrupt change of reality. Going through the comments, I was able to make a list of various tips and life hacks. What jobs are available to students, how to look for housing, how to get a credit card, a bank account, a mobile phone plan, and so on. Very useful advice that I think will be useful to me even after returning to a normal life. My parents were called words in the comments that no one has ever called them in their lives. And reading that was unpleasant. And I did not even read all the comments. It is scary to imagine what else is written there. My dad is very ashamed of his reaction and behavior. He apologizes a lot. I understand his reaction, but I still feel pain. I understand that he was not in the best state, but I also cannot just turn off my feelings. We will be fine, and this did not cause irreparable damage to our relationship. My mom handled all of this worse, but she is gradually coming to her senses and answered some more of my questions. When many years ago my mom had an affair and became pregnant with me, my parents started the divorce process. My mom moved in with a man she had the affair with, but after a few months, he decided that he did not want anything to do with her. He kicked my mom out, and she had nowhere to go. Then my grandparents took her in, because she was still the mother of their grandchildren. After a long period of working on a relationship, my mom and dad got back together. My dad accepted me as his own. My biological father is not in my life. My dad did not really know who he was, and my mom has neither seen nor heard from him since then. He knew perfectly well that my mom was pregnant with his child. Apparently, he just had more important things to do. However, it does not look like he was planning to save the world from hunger. My mom met him in a bar, not at a charity event. I have no desire to learn more about him. I have thought about this for the last 2 weeks since I found out the truth, and I still did not feel the need to know who he is, where he is, whether he is even alive, and whether I have brothers or sisters somewhere else. I was advised to buy a DNA kit. Maybe that way I could find him, but I will most likely consciously not do that so as not to find him and so that he does not find me. One thing matters to me. I have a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister, and that is my family. Going forward, I plan to get a job and become more independent, but not in order to distance myself from my family, but to feel that I will not be lost in the world if my family suddenly disappears. My mom admits that I was sheltered much more than my brother and sister, and that they should prepare me better for what lies ahead. I understood what place I occupy in my family, and it can be said with confidence that I am loved and that I have options. I thought that I was isolated, but my world turned out to be wider than I imagined. My grandmother and grandfather, brother and sister, aunt, cousins, everyone is on my side. I think that my parents are ordinary people. They make mistakes, and although this was not their best moment, I want to perceive everything that happened as just a weakness within the framework of a wonderful relationship. Thank you. And now we move on to the next story. Flirting with 19-year-old girls. I flirted with 19-year-old girls and defended myself when I was called a pervert. I am 31, and I recently ended a long relationship. I was devastated. Recently, I went to a cool restaurant or bar downtown with one of my friends just to have a good time. People of any age can come there. While we were there, one girl was celebrating her 19th birthday. They sang happy birthday to her, and they were allowed to bring their own cake with candles showing 19. The birthday girl was pretty, and I decided to come up and chat. Her friends were also very cute. My friend told me to leave them alone and that they looked like kids. At first, he did not want to approach, but after the breakup, all women, except my ex, seemed invisible to me. In the end, he still went with me as a support group. We came up and congratulated her on her birthday. It seemed to me that everything was going fine. The girls were laughing, and then suddenly one of them snapped at me. Take the hint already, irkily. I was taken aback and just said that, sorry. She said that I should read the room better, and that they were uncomfortable. Another girl asked us to leave. I was already about to leave, but the comment about irkily really got to me, which is a symbol of predatory behavior toward underage girls and young women. I said that it was bullshit. They called me some kind of pervert, even though we were all adults. My friend wanted to leave, but I decided to stand my ground. The birthday girl said that it does not matter. It is still weird that a person my age is hitting on them, especially when it is obvious that they are uncomfortable. Then she mentioned irkily again, asking whether she looked like the singer Aaliyah to me. This pissed me off again. I apologized for making them uncomfortable, but said that this does not give them the right to call me a predator. One of the girls said that this is my personal problem. I replied that adults have the right to flirt with adults. It is not a crime. One of them simply asked, "Why am I still standing here?" and yelled for me to leave. I was furious, and when I left, their whole table started singing the song R. Kelly remixed to Ignition and laughing like crazy. I was enraged and humiliated. When we returned to our seats, I was shaking. My friend said that it was my fault, that I did not notice that they were uncomfortable. For him, it was obvious. That is why he wanted to leave. He called me disconnected from reality. I pointed out that they were laughing, and he said that it was nervous, insincere laughter. I told him that I had every right to be angry about being called a pervert when they were all 18 to 19. That is a horrible accusation. My ex was 6 years older than me. He said that they were not calling me a pervert, but just a weird guy because I was hitting on teenagers. He said that it was wrong of them to sing after me, but I should have left much earlier. It seemed to me that he should have stood up for me. I was wrong for defending myself, or even for approaching them. I was polite to them after all. Edited. For clarity, I date women my age and older. This was the first time I approached much younger girls. Okay, guys, I got it. I let pride get in the way. This cannot be fixed, and next time I will behave better. Comments. You are absolutely the asshole for behaving creepily, not taking hints, and then argue with women who directly ask you to leave. You are angry that you were called a pervert, but it seems that you do not care that your inappropriate behavior made a group of women feel uncomfortable in a public place. Typical nice guy. The fact that the whole table sang the Ignition remix was also insanely funny, especially considering how much it pissed the author off. He is doubly the asshole for standing his ground when he was asked to leave. What did he really think would happen next? That the girls would admire his persistence and realize that they were wrong? And that he is actually a nice guy that everyone urgently needs to sleep with? Or that everyone would awkwardly lower their eyes and he would leave like a boss, epically owning these bitchy women? And then the whole restaurant would start applauding, and all women would throw their panties at the obvious alpha male. The very fact that both the girls and your friend immediately understood that hitting on them was creepy should have told you that your behavior was not okay. You are 31. You are hitting on a 19-year-old, and you cannot even confirm the ages of the other girls. Most likely they were 17 to 19. This is very creepy. You made them feel uncomfortable, did not take hints, and on top of that got angry when they had to be rude for you to leave. But you still did not leave. This is terrible behavior, and I do not understand at all what you're counting on. Well, ahead of us is an update from the birthday girl, from that group of girls in the restaurant who found the author's post. So before that, I suggest right now writing your opinion about the situation in the comments, and then we will listen to the second side of this conflict. Update. I never had an account on this forum before, but our journalism teacher showed it to us, and sometimes I just go to the main page to look at the news. And then one day I came across a post that essentially described my birthday at a restaurant about 3 weeks ago. At first I did not care, but then I felt the need to clarify a few points. Although I know that most people already call the author an asshole for his behavior. Some were outraged by the comments about Erkley and the song Ignition. Was it rude? Yes, but I am no longer going to be nice to all kinds of perverts. This was not a bar, it was a bar restaurant, but in fact an ordinary restaurant where they just serve alcohol. We were sitting next to a family. This was not the kind of place people come to hit on others. We were calmly minding our own business and chatting. He came up and congratulated me on my birthday. I said thank you, and we returned to our conversation. I really was pleased that I was congratulated, but he did not leave. We awkwardly laughed and continued our conversation again. He stayed and kept interrupting us. Every time he said something, we nodded and turned away. Several times we said, "Thanks, bye." But he still stood there and kept talking to us. His friend was constantly finding reasons to leave. I was irritated, uncomfortable, and disgusted, but I still politely said, "Okay, have a good evening. Here is a piece of cake to go. Bye." But he took the cake and sat down at our table and said, "The evening isn't over yet." At that point, my friend snapped, and if it had not been her, it would have been me. When she called him R. Kelly, she was not accusing him of being involved with underage girls. She was calling him a creep. 30-year-old men who hit on us are creepy and disgusting. Period. We were polite the whole time. I gave him a million hints, and even gave him cake to go. His friend himself was looking for reasons for them to leave, and then he had the nerve to stand there and argue with us. I told him that he was too old for us, and that it was creepy from the very beginning. When he left, we started singing Ignition among ourselves, and then after them. It is an old-school song that our parents used to play for us. Instead of whining that some creep ruined our evening, we turned it into a fun karaoke moment. P.S. When he asked our age and named his own, we became a million times more uncomfortable. The guy was 30, and he was trying to hit on 18-year-olds at a birthday dinner. We're used to grown men hitting on us, and it is always disgusting. For those who are writing that if he were not ugly, he was quite handsome and in good shape. If I had not known him, I could have easily set him up with my aunt. But he is over 30 and he is too old. This is not barely legal porn. I have never in my life met a peer of mine who desperately wants a 30-year-old hose. When you are called legal, it is humiliating. There was something nauseating about this whole situation. When he came up, announced his age, and then asked, "Yours?" I almost threw up. It looked like he was checking our IDs in a family restaurant. Screw him. I am tired of being polite to men who behave creepily and disrespectfully. Edited. 30-year-olds in themselves are not disgusting. Everyone gets older. The disgusting ones are those 30-year-olds who try to flirt with young girls at a birthday dinner. Well, thank you for listening to all of today's stories to the end. If you liked them, be sure to like this video and watch our previous videos, which you will see right here. Also, if for some ridiculous reason, you still have not subscribed to our channel, be sure to do so, and good luck to you.